Hello, my beautiful people, and it's been a while since I've done a little Toon Talk vlog, or Toon Talk in general, unless you count that little April Fool's video from last week. But, March has been a bit of a slow month for me. I haven't really been able to make a whole lot of videos for whatever reason. I don't know why. I guess life really got the best of me. But, I'm going to try and make up for it, try to make a little bit more videos in April. But we've been doing pretty good so far. So, anyway, I would like to talk about a couple cartoons I was able to watch recently. The first one I want to talk about is Comedy Central's Digman. Now, Comedy Central has had a bit of an infamous reputation for cartoons that aren't South Park, and their shows usually almost always try to copy off the success of South Park. And so, because of how much they are obviously trying to be like South Park, everyone just hates them automatically because they forget what really makes South Park work. It's that you could have not the best animation just as long as it has really good writing. With these shows, it just has bad animation and bad writing. And they think that the appeal of South Park is because the animation looks like shit and the characters say fucking ass and damn and shit all the time. And so you keep on seeing a whole bunch of these really shitty cartoons from Comedy Central, like Little Bush, Brickleberry, whatever the fuck that name of that basketball show was from a few years ago, and just last year there was Fairview, which was critically panned. Nobody liked Fairview. I think the exception to this was Drawn Together, because that actually was slightly popular. Still wasn't had the best reception. It definitely felt very edgelordy just for the hell of it. But it was popular enough to last for 3 seasons. It even got a movie back in 2010. So that is, without a doubt, Comedy Central's second most popular cartoon behind South Park. And I guess Futurama, if you count it, but that was made by Fox and it wasn't created by Comedy Central, so whatever. But here comes the most recent attempt to make a successful animated series, Digman, which, like every other one, it airs right after a brand new episode of South Park with a huge marketing campaign. My dog is being loud as hell. And this one was actually celebrity backed by The Lonely Island and stars Island's own Andy Samberg. And the show is fine. The humor isn't the funniest thing in the world. I can definitely tell they're very trying to be a very silly, wacky comedy adventure series. Visually, the show looks a lot like something like Rick and Morty or Star Trek Lower Decks, but I wouldn't say tonally it's trying to rip off Rick and Morty. It definitely, in terms of the jokes, feels like its own thing, but it definitely does have that Rick and Morty style that has been in the grand majority of adult cartoons nowadays that aren't created by Gendy Tartakovsky. And while the characters do look like random Rick and Morty characters, the voice acting behind those characters is actually very well done. The show does have some good voice acting. The grand majority of them are comedians. I don't know if there's actually a single dedicated voice actor amongst the cast, but they're either very, very funny comedians or comedians that have a lot of voice acting experience and know their way around the mic, which is the case for our lead, Andy Samberg, who plays the wash-up Digman himself. And the 2 episodes that have released so far on Comedy Central, I liked. They were fine. I really love the fact that every episode gives us a different location. We get to see all the fun different types of adventures. and plays with the adventure trope and genre a little bit. It even makes a direct reference to Indiana Jones, where he brings up on how much he loves snakes and that they're his favorite animal. Flip flop. But it does have the cliches, like, oh, his partner betrayed him. Like every other one of these types of heroes, like, there's always a betrayal. There always has to be a betrayal, you know? I think my favorite gag in the series will have to be in the second episode, where basically his pilot needs a license for a boat in Italy, and he has to go through this whole ass Top Gun montage where he basically lives through the entirety of the movie, and meanwhile the characters are just waiting for him, and it's this whole like 2-3 minute sequence of him just playing out the movie where like his friend dies and he has to leave the forest, and he has to sing while he's rowing the little boat. But because they're being watched by the bad guys, he can't sing. He'll be suspicious. But because he's in Italy, the fact that he's not singing is what's suspicious, and that's what ends up getting him caught. It ends up using the stuff he learned in that montage in order to save them out. So the 3-minute montage wasn't pointless to the plot. And then it's fun that the show can do those silly, goofy little things while having it connect to the story of the episode, which is what you really want when you're trying to make a stupid little comedy series that has a bit of an overarching story. And where this episode leaves off, I'm very interested to see where it goes from here. I don't know if I'm going to watch every episode, but from what I've seen, it's a pretty entertaining series. It's not the funniest show in the world, but it definitely does give me a bit of a chuckle here and there, and it does have some pretty fun voice acting. So, I'd say, give it a watch if you're in a mood for a stupid time. Now, if you're in a mood for a charming time, I'd recommend the second cartoon I want to talk about in this video, Disney Animation's latest animated series, Kiff. And when I say Disney Animation, I mean Disney Television Animation, not Walt Disney Animation Studios, which are now making TV shows for Disney+. The latest Disney Channel cartoon, alright? Kiff follows the slice-of-life adventures of a little squirrel girl named Kiff and her best friend Barry as they just live through life, whether it be at home, at school, or anywhere else in their small little town. And usually, things get a little bit out of hand. To describe this show, I'd say that it's kind of like a more tame Rocko's Modern Life, with the entire cast being anthropomorphic animals, or a witch in the case of one character, and with there being very cutesy, fun little designs and backgrounds being all over the place. Not to mention the plots and the characters get pretty damn wacky, which spun from very normal everyday events. I'd say that this is definitely Rocko's Modern Life, but without the sex jokes, if you know what I mean. And I love Rocko's Modern Life. It's one of my favorite Nickelodeon shows from the 90s, one of my favorite Nicktoons ever. It definitely paved the way for shows like SpongeBob to happen, and this one definitely does capture the other things that made Rocko special, the slice of life modern day element to it. And this one, Kiff definitely goes to do some wacky places, but I wouldn't say it's as like in your face or crude as Rocko was. Rocko was definitely a Nickelodeon take on this idea, loud, in your face, and all over the place. That rhymed. Kiff is definitely a Disney take on this idea where, oh, this is a little kid and she's living the big world, and oh, this is kind of weird, this is kind of crazy. That's the thing about some Disney cartoons, is that they kind of have to suffer because they are Disney cartoons. Like back in the 90s and early 2000s, like Disney tried to make a couple instances of their own Ren and Stimpy, like Schnookers and Meat or Brandy and Mr. Whiskers. Remember that shit? But because they were on Disney Channel with the Disney name, and Disney has this very specific brand, they weren't really allowed to go too crazy to the point where it was full Ren and Stimpy. I mean, there's the old saying, Disney is classical music, Warner Brothers is jazz, or in the case of 2023, Warner Brothers is ass. But where Kiff makes up for that in this aspect is charm. This is an incredibly charming series. Not the funniest show out there. Like Rocko's Modern Life, the one I've been comparing it to the most, is way more funnier. But this is definitely a very charming kids show. Like, if you have kids, they will love the fuck out of it. Have a feeling if this show had a toy line, those toys would sell like crazy because these characters look so cute and like all of them just look like adorable. You just want a plush toy of these characters on your bed so you can cuddle with them all day. These are just such cute little designs. I love it so much. The designs remind me a lot of Bluey because I've been thinking of Bluey a lot lately. They definitely have like the Bluey vibes to it. And also, can I just say, I really hope that as the series continues, Kiff and Barry stay friends. Because so many times in media and cartoons in general, we have man, woman, male, female, and regardless on where their relationship is within the show or the movie, they almost always have to fall in love and get together at the end because that's what you're supposed to do. And yeah, for whatever reason, TV shows just refuse to have male and female friendships just be friendships. Now, I'm a guy, and I've had several different friendships with women throughout my entire lifetime. I say that like I've lived many years, I'm only 18, but I've had many different completely platonic friendships with women, and it kind of does frustrate me on how there really aren't that many platonic friendships between men and women in media that I've consumed. And usually when it does happen, one of them is gay, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it kind of paints in the mind that it is impossible for you to both be attracted to the opposite sex and be a friend with the opposite sex. So in that case, I guess it's impossible for bisexuals and pansexuals to have any friendships, but oh well, I guess. But yeah, Barry and Kiff are completely just best friends in the show. They have been friends for many years prior to the events of this show, and there is clearly no romantic tension between them. They are completely a platonic friendship between a man and a woman, between a boy and a girl, which is pretty cool to see. I remember that the director of Shang-Chi once said that I don't want Shang-Chi and his friend, played by Aquafina, who I forgot the name of, to ever be in a relationship because we would like to normalize friendships between men and women because that is cool. I applaud Disney for not saying progressive, but it's pretty cool to see. Now, my few criticisms with this show are really just nitpicks, like the fact that it is a world of anthropomorphic animals and this, for whatever reason, this one or couple groups of humanoid witches. Like, okay, why are they here? And not to mention that there are flying birds that are clearly like birds in our world, yet there are talking, walking, and thoroughbreds. But you could just say cartoon logic. I mean, this goes back all the way to Pluto's a dog and Goofy's a dog. Oh, what the fuck is that all about? So, you're kind of just looking for things to complain about when you bring that type of shit up, which I was struggling to find anything wrong with this show. It is a perfectly fun, very charming animated series. I'd highly recommend you check it out, especially if you have kids. I think they're going to love this. And the parents, they will definitely find a lot of charm out of this show. I don't think they'll love it as much as the kids, but it is definitely a very strong show. Definitely not as great and spectacular as the shows that Disney have been putting out lately. I mean, literally the month prior, Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur premiered, and I've only seen the pilot, and I fucking loved that pilot. It was fantastic. One of the best cartoons visually I've seen in a while, and even beyond the visuals, that show was just fantastic. Maybe I'll make another video dedicated to that soon, but Kiff is a very fun, charming series. I say it's about an 8 out of 10, probably more of an 8.5. Definitely give Kiff a watch. It is on Disney Plus. There you go. But anyway, guys, those are my thoughts on Digman and Kiff. If you guys have seen these shows, what do you guys think of it? Please let me know down in the comments below. And also, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified on when future videos are uploaded. And also, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to be notified on when updates for the Animalogic movie, the monster movie, that's not the name of the movie, to be notified on when updates for Animalogic the monster movie will happen. They're not going to be frequent, but when a major update occurs, I'll let you know with a dedicated video like every few months, hopefully. We are still in the process of casting some characters, and we are currently working on some animatics, but it's a very long process. And hopefully the final product will be fantastic. But until then, I will see you later. Bye!